Well, I'm delighted to be having a random pint with the Juggernaut. Let's.
Oh, are we doing
look,
this?
why not? Why not? Look, cheers. You can see the difference in what's left. I mean, but yeah, you all right?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sure.
I've referred to you today, Joe, as the second best heavyweight in the world. How do you feel about that? Are you angry with me saying that? Are you happy? Are you humbled? How do you feel about me referring to you as the second best heavyweight in the world?
Mate, should we want to fight? Should we take it outside?
Well, I'm not saying I'm number one, by the way, but
okay.
what do you think of that? Do you agree with it? Because obviously I'm saying it from my personal top five. My personal top five has Tyson Fury at number one, you at number two, and then...
Well, that's good. That's fair enough.
What's your top five?
I mean, that is there's certain fights need to take place, but yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll go with that.
You go in number two?
Yeah.
So what do you reckon? Fury one, you two, and then what's the next three?
Whoever wants it. No, I don't know.
How was your Christmas, New Year? You good?
Yeah, Christmas, New Year was good. I went Tenerife for a bit. Obviously did the normal Christmas family thing. Went to my aunties and my other aunties. I was kind of the driver a little bit for Christmas and over Christmas. Had some fun and yeah, went to Tenerife. Now I'm getting back into training. Gonna heading out to Vegas very soon. Eyes on the prize now, so it's I'm just because obviously after the fight to get yourself to the top the top of the mountain. You have to, build yourself up, and you get there, and then you have a bit of downtime, and then you go back up.
But you're up a level, aren't you? You're on the next level now.
So now I'm gonna start to pick it back up again.
Yeah. Well, look,
for the next fight.
Before we talk about the next fight, which we don't know yet, but before we talk about this year, let's reflect on last year. It felt like, to me, a bit of a breakthrough year for you, because when the year ended, more people than ever were talking about you. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it was a dramatic victory against a big, great fighter, Joseph Parker, and I'm looking forward. I've seen some of his some footage or something that for his road to his next fight and all that kind of stuff. So I'm eagerly awaiting his next fight.
Have you become a fan of Joe Parker, or were you anyway?
Yeah, I've got tough Parker. Yeah, he's cool. So I've got going to get a date in March. Between March and maybe early April. So I'll fight then and potentially fight Fury in the summer, hopefully.
Well, that would be magnificent. That would be a hell of a 2023. Back to your 2022. It seemed to start with a BT Sport advertising campaign.
Oh yeah.
Where you were learning to trash talk.
Yeah, that was fun.
How do you reflect on it?
Yeah, that was a fun day out on set, and you have to practice it. You have to do lots of takes. So I had a lot of takes to practice as well. So I kind of did it off the cuff, but yeah, it was really enjoyable, and I wouldn't mind getting into that maybe.
A bit of acting?
Maybe,
yeah,
sort of post career, boxing career, but I've got things to do till then.
Well, yeah. I mean, your first thing to do after that ad was meant to be Parker, and it ended up being Christian Hammer. Was that fight important because that ended up being the fight before Parker?
Because I'd been out the ring for a long time. It was over a year, I think, and it was good to dust off the cobwebs. And Hammer wanted it. He was a live opponent, and
he was game, wasn't he?
He
landed a few.
Yeah, he's turning up for a fight. I saw the look in his eyes. I was like, I knew he was about to go down.
Was it important to get that fight in terms of did you get to work on anything? Because it was somewhat of a tune-up fight, right, before Parker. So did you get to work on anything that you then used in the Parker fight, or was it just get Hammer out of the way?
Yeah, so Hammer, I was working on the body shots and using the momentum and stuff that SLAPS was teaching me for the camp and stuff. And I did the overhand right and the body shot because I was working one side and I was like, okay, how about the other side? Have a little tickle here.
Parker was the left hook from hell, but it was yeah. I mean, it was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was. They had the momentum there for another shot, but I was like, nah, he's. I was like, rah, and, I think that's all he needs.
I heard you in interviews afterwards say like, "Oh, was that the shot? I didn't
it was like
remember."
Instinctive.
Yeah. So you don't actually know at the time. You're just in your sort of in your groove.
I was in the flow, in the momentum, back, and then I could have come back with something else as well, but like obviously I wouldn't. No, that was good. That was enough. That left hook. It's a full-bodied left hook.
It was quite something. And obviously Tyson Fury was ringside watching.
Yeah, and I saw the look on his face. He was like, so yeah.
Do you think you sent a bit of a message to him and everyone that night?
Yeah, I think so. I think it kind of, that's why he was saying he's the second best heavyweight, because that night he saw the levels and how I caused problems.
Why do you think Parker came in so heavy for that fight? You both came in heavier than ever, but he came in heavy, and people are saying, why did he do that?
Yeah, or maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't really. I don't know if he really thought the size would help him, or whether he was happy at that weight and he was doing well in like his camp anyway, and they wasn't worried about weight, and he's putting his shots together and stuff and sparring, or maybe it was intentional to maybe soak up some body punches or whatever, or I don't know, maybe put a bit more weight behind his shots. For like that overhand right that he probably connected with a couple of times.
A couple, yeah, just a couple. I mean, have you watched it back, by the way?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's a good fight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great fight. Why is it not a fight of the year?
Oh, yeah, I mean, for me, it's definitely up there. It's just there were some other very good ones as well.
Yeah,
but like when you're watching yourself get punched in the face with some of those shots, as you mentioned, like can you feel them? Are you sort of looking away? You're like, oh.
Yeah, but as you see, like when I watched it back anyway, it's like I'm kind of taking the shot, but I'm looking to throw like 3, 4, 5 more shots anyway. So I'm just like, nah, that's okay, but let me just hit you with that as well. So you hit me with 1, how about 6 more? Like at least 3.
Did you feel yourself breaking his heart in there?
No, it felt like for me. It felt like a really tough fight. Like until I watched it back, I'm in first person. I don't really know how. That's why it's good to have like a second and a team to like really see and analyze from, like, because they can see like both the perspective, the full view of the fight. Because when you're there personally, you can only see certain things, and. But I mean, you can see when it's easy to land shots, or if you have worked out the rhythm of the fighter, then you can, I don't know, as you walk into the fight, you can just see things. And it's just instinctual where you can see the openings or whatever.
Well, it's the win that's put you in that sort of top frame. It's made you number 2 heavyweight in my list. When are you out next? It looks like sort of March, April time then?
Yeah.
And what sort of fight are you looking at? Because there's the whole Fury-Usyk thing going on. Everyone's waiting for that to be made. But Tyson Fury said if it can't be made for whatever reason, he wants a bit of the juggernaut. So
yeah. So
either way.
So it's I'll be preparing diligently for whatever fighters out there. Like, I mean, especially Fury-Usyk.
Well, there's a few.
Like, I'd have to get, like, that's why I want a top 15 fighter and like a decent fight to start the year. To start the year, and like if it happens to be Fury, then it's a big fight. And
well, he's certainly top 15, isn't he?
He's certainly top 15, yeah.
But I guess Fury said that you know, if Fury Usyk happens, he wants to fight you at some point, like maybe after that. So you're in that position where you've got the interim title, which means you are a mandatory. You've got Fury saying he'll fight you once he comes through Usyk. So your next fight, you say you want it to be someone top 15, but what do? Are you going to go for someone dangerous or what? Or are you going to go on someone who's a bit easier? How are you going to keep sharp in that time? Because you don't want to, I don't know, go a bit stale. What do you think?
Yeah, that's why I'm going to fight someone decent. Decent.
I guess it'll have to be someone in the top 15.
Top 15, yeah. Decent.
There's a few names out there. I was looking at the WBO top 15 because you're the interim champ there. There's like the likes of Frank Sanchez. There's Zhang as well. There's good fighters like that out there. Are these the sort of names? Otto Wallin as well. Are these the sort of names you got in mind?
Yeah. Yeah, could be one of those names.
Yeah?
Yeah, or there's a few more I can think of as well, but I don't know, to widen the spectrum, but like that is very close to the area.
Well, out of those sort of three, say I presented those to you, Otto Wallin, Zhili Zhang, and who was the other one I said? Frank Sanchez. Who would you quite like out of those three? What would make a good fight for the Juggernaut?
Mate, either of them.
Yeah.
Who would you think?
I quite like the Zhang fight, to be honest. I just think these are just two massive lumps, and I think you need to reinforce the ring. I think like you're just two massive guys, and I'd quite like to see what would happen. You both got great chins and whatnot. And the Sanchez fight would be a good fight as well.
Yeah.
Keeping your cards very close to your chest, Joe.
Yeah. We're playing poker right now.
Fury Usyk then, if it does happen, how are you feeling about that fight, and who have you got to win that fight?
Well, of course, I really want to see that fight. It's for the undisputed, and I think they're both very skillful, and I think it's going to be a tough test for both of them. But I'm edging with Fury, I think, but I don't know. We'll have to see on the night because those first, 20, 30 seconds of the fight, you can really see a lot. So for instance, when I was watching the Fury versus Klitschko, that first fight, I was thinking, because I was going to put a bet on, but I didn't have time.
Who were you going to bet on?
Huh?
Who were you going to bet on?
I was going to bet on Fury, but I didn't get round to because I needed to sign into the app or something. I didn't get round to doing it. And when the fight, the first couple of seconds, I was like, I see looking in Fury's eyes. I was like, where's my phone? I was like trying to.
So did you get a bet on?
I couldn't sign in the end, and I was like, I wanted to watch the fight as well. So I was like, but I couldn't.
So you knew within the first few seconds that Fury, that he was going to win the fight, or that he was there.
Yeah,
and he meant business.
He meant business, and I thought that it is like a highly likelihood that he'd win the fight. So, it's like sometimes you can see that in the first couple of seconds of the fight, or sometimes it takes a minute. Like sometimes it takes like half the fight for it to ignite, and you're just like, you're not even really watching it. You're like looking at your phone or something, like, and then he's like, and it ignites. So just like exchanging, like, hang on a minute, you know what I mean? But
so you think you'd be able to tell quite quickly when the fight starts of Fury Usyk as to who's going to win that fight once it starts?
Probably, yeah.
Has there been other fights where you've been able to tell? Say for example, the Usyk-Joshua fights. Were you able to tell quite quickly they were going to go Usyk's way or not?
It's kind of hard to tell like when the fight's live, but like round by round, you're like, he's not got that round. He's not got that round either. I'm like, wow. Then you can kind of see, but.
Did you see the picture that Usyk put out on his social media of him? I think he just finished a swim or something. He's got his...
Oh, yeah, I saw that picture, yeah.
And he's calling out Fury, saying, middleweight's here. What did you think?
That's good that he's on his swim game.
Well, he looked, to me, he looked lean.
Yeah, he looked trim, yeah.
Is that good or bad?
Yeah, that's good. Obviously, he looks healthy and strong, and I don't know, he's swimming and stuff. So yeah, his cardio is probably good, and whatever.
He looks smaller though. He looks smaller than in the Joshua fights.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe speed and get the speed, because I guess he was going. He's putting it on the sides to maybe get more power, but then I don't know if the power was like effective. So he might as well just be fast.
Might as well just be himself, his sort of cruiserweight-ish self.
It was like, I remember when we fought, it was like stinging power. It wasn't like thudding, like I've been hit. It's like oh shit, like it's more, I don't know, stunning.
Did he daze you at all? When
no,
you fought
not daze me, but like I could feel the punches. You know, like slaps, they're like more stinging. Yeah, faster and more stinging at the time, but like I guess now he's like got put on more size, so there'll be more thudding as well.
Smaller
he's
gloves.
knocked out like people. So
who's hit you the hardest in your career? Pro career.
I don't know, but I mean they've all kind of hit me like the same kind of hard, like. But I think I remember Dubois though. Actually, like my face after the fight, I was like, oh, like his punches, like even though like he didn't have the time to set his feet and really settle into his shots, he's got like just raw like thudding like natural power, and he eats whole chickens, and then goes to bed like he probably did on GB. Well, that's what he did on GB, so he's probably doing similar now.
He's got the power, hasn't he? Yeah. You were surprised by his fight with Kevin Lerena. You were up in the stands, and then you had to rush to ringside because of what was happening. I heard.
Yeah. So it was up at the top, and was like, oh my days, what's going? Like looking down at the fight and that, and I was up the top there, and we're seeing the fight and seeing him wobbling, like his knees going and that, and he had 3 counts in the first round, and I looked at Adam and we're like, he was like, we need to go down. I'm like, yeah, let's go, we better go down to ringside. So we got down there, and then. But then at this moment, it was like, getting broken up by the referee, and then Dubois like kind of got his like composure or whatever, and then he's looking for it. So we're like, watching the fight, and then obviously he knocks him out in the end. But I thought in a moment there, what was his name?
Kevin Lerena.
Lerena, yeah. He had a moment where if he had steamed in and forced a stoppage, he could have had him out. Could have had him out, and then where does Dubois go from there? That's the peak. Like, luckily, he got him out of there in the end.
Well, I guess it was a crisis moment for him in that fight. I guess it's probably the second crisis moment he's had in his career.
It's another learning moment, so he needs to. But like he's right at the top, so he hasn't really got time to hesitate and learn or whatever. He has to. He's in the firing line.
Well. There may be a scenario, because he's the WBA mandatory, there may be a scenario where he ends up fighting Usyk or getting called for that fight. What sort of chance would you give him in that fight? Has he got the attributes to give Usyk trouble?
Mate, Usyk would pepper him and be moving. He can't Dubois not going to be able to. He couldn't hit me. How is he going to hit Usyk? Mate, anyway, and Fury slapped him about when he was overweight. So I don't know, but it's Dubois is very powerful, and he can, he's he can knock people over, and he's got plenty of time to learn. But he's like at the top now, and he's WBA, so regular, and yeah, man. But his styles make fights, and on his day he can knock over a good few.
Well, he wants to knock you over.
Yeah, I'm sure he does want revenge.
Every time I talk to him, he talks about that fight.
Really?
He does want to do it again. Obviously, I ask him, but he does want to do it again, and he wants to right that wrong and erase it.
Go.
You ready to go? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe sooner or later. Maybe I don't know. Let's see.
Well, a man that could well be in your future is, of course, Tyson Fury, who called you up to the ring. Well, actually, you sort of made yourself go up to the ring after the
Chisora fight. He called up Usyk, and I was like, And then I see Adam, and Adam was like, "Yeah, go up." I was like, "Yeah, I'll go up." And I got up, like helped up kindly by security and stuff, and we got face to face in the trio duo.
I've never seen a face-off like that before.
Yeah. I got quite excited actually. Fury got me hyped, man. He was like about the Royal Rumble. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I don't know.
It must be refreshing that he's calling you out though. You know, once you were up there, it's not like it's like, oh, go away, Joe. He was like, yeah, come on, no one's calling you out. I'll fight you, Joe Joyce.
Yeah,
it must be refreshing. Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, and like especially with that Chisora fight is, you know, it's keeping him busy, but it's also giving him a payday. It's like, here you go, mate. Like it's quite nice. So, and he's, you know, willing to give them like opportunities.
You were sat ringside with Usyk at the Fury Chisora fight, and you said to me afterwards, you guess you were sort of taking notes. Did you actually see any kind of weaknesses in Tyson Fury that night?
Yeah, I kind of gauged him like what, but he's obviously knows who he's fighting. He's fighting Chisora, so I don't know. He knows what kind of level Chisora's at, so he prepares himself accordingly. Now, if he's going to be fighting me, I know he's going to prepare himself accordingly, and he'll be freaking like, oh, mate. And he's just like, there's moments in the spar, like, you know, it was ages ago now in Big Bear, like, you know, when he gets in his flow and like starts like letting shots go, you're like, where's it hit me from? So, but like, and he's tall, he's got a really long range, he's fast, and he can hit. He's shown now he can hit as well. So, it'd be a tough fight. It'll probably, I don't know, go to the later rounds and be like a dramatic affair.
So you sparred him before his first Wilder fight, wasn't it? It was up in Big Bear, right?
Yeah, for like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Right?
Do you think he's got better since that, or do you think he's
definitely? Because I mean, well, there he was just basically losing weight, and obviously doing the boxing and that and sparring. And Big Bear, you have to have 10 days where your body's adjusting to the altitude, and it's like even if you like play a game of it or had or it or whatever, you know, like tag or whatever, and you'd like be out of breath. So it takes a bit, and it's really tough up there in Big Bear anyway. You're doing longer rounds with less rest, and I guess there's not really much to do as well. Like unless it's like winter season, then it gets like really busy, and obviously because it's like a ski resort. But like out of season, there's not really much to do, and it's like isolation. I mean, Fury's house is lovely, like lovely to spend Christmas. There's a big carved bear, and like,
you spent Christmas together.
No,
I was going to say you're reading his book, you're getting his
and we made each other a cup of hot cocoa every night.
Get the turkey, Joe. But yeah, so you said like in that sparring, he's like hitting you from all sorts of angles. You're like, where does that come from? But
it was like competitive. It was competitive sparring, like, and there was Guido as well in the mix as well. That, you know, there's a red mark on Fury's forehead. That was from Guido, right, connecting with the right hand. So they had good spars too. Like, but yeah, it was a good like mix up. He sparred Guido and whatever. But like, Fury. That was when Fury was like conscious about losing weight, because he had like obviously the big bit. He was massive at one point, like 30 whatever.
Yeah, like 30 odd stone.
Yeah, and I sparred him then, and he was hard to hit on the ropes as well. I couldn't hit him on the ropes. He was like, obviously I wasn't taking the piss. This is like the first time I sparred him, like in Bolton,
right?
Like in Team Fury gym or whatever. And, yeah, that was good to like, because he was like on the ropes and he was just moving his head, and I couldn't really hit him. But
still,
like,
that at 30 stone.
This is when I was just starting the pro game, so I'd like obviously learnt a lot since then, and I mean since when I was sparring in Big Bear anyway.
Could you take any confidence away from your spars? You talked about how like a couple of times.
Yeah, I think I know what to do in there, but Salas will probably give me the really technical analysis and what he wants me, because he like lives and breathes the sport for a lot longer. So I don't know, I'm quite fresh in the game, but it's good. It suits me because I just really enjoy it, and I enjoy other things as well. But this is like when you live and breathe it and know so much about it. I mean, I'm still learning, but it's great to be guided by someone.
So he's just got to sort of program you.
As well as Steve as well back here.
Yeah,
we do
Steve
some
Broad.
great rounds and like working with each other on like different combinations and stuff, and like, you know, really kind of you know, from what Salas is teaching, like we're working together to get like kind of what Salas wants, but also working on like the fundamentals and experimenting and I don't know, just having fun.